like talk about everything that you want to talk about in 15 minutes. So here there's a bit more time. Alright, but yeah, so this is going to be Bastion. New game, all story levels, no menu storage. Basically completing the game without skipping required story levels through poor duplication and without doing any menu storage based glitches. So, first thing really of note that happens in this run is about 13 seconds in. We get the hammer and get the ability to roll, and actually the control scheme I'm using is very relevant now, because the mouse and keyboard controls where you just hold down the left mouse button to go where you want to move are actually bugged so that you roll faster if you hold down the left mouse button while you're rolling. It essentially gives you walk speed and roll speed at the same time, and you end up going significantly faster, especially over the course of an entire run. But yeah, there are some kind of subtle like sequencing things there, but not too important. Soul Regret is the main kind of introduction to combat in this run, so both in terms of just how to use the weapons and also the way kind of fights that gate your progress work in this run. So here, as long as there are no like boxes or gas fellas spawned on the screen and actually mess the trick up, the game will proceed to the next wave, even if there is going to be a gas fella that spawns later. So basically a trick you can do there is kill all but one box / gas fella and have it so that, oh wow, that's a really good time, have it so that the last box spawns into a gas fella, but there's a time where there's actually nothing on the screen, so that flag is triggered earlier than it should be. Okay. Ooh. Alright. And yeah, now Wharf District is going to be pretty interesting because I'm going to actually not take the ride on the barge here. I'm going to just hit the switch and roll away. And what this allows me to do is the game will teleport me into the sort of final arena automatically once the barge gets far enough away. And in the meantime, I can pick up several items and basically not have to worry about going out of my way or waiting on pickup animations, because this is time where I can't do anything else anyway. And yeah, clipping also a big part of the run, as you saw there, using the whirlwind secret skill to get behind the gate and just skip doing that fight.
Sure enough, he finds another. There's a bit of the Bastion.
Then this is a trick we call dialogue glitch. It's basically stacking two like narration kind of cutscenes on top of each other, so that you get control back after the shorter one finishes, and you can do something useful with the game giving you back control from the longer one afterwards. Which basically means you can put in a core in the monument and then immediately be able to move again, because the other cutscene has finished. This level, Workman Ward, is very straightforward. Pretty much just a very scripted kill. Power shot, whirlwind, hammer swing, take out the foreman, and then you just go back to the start, and the skyway's right there. Messed up a little bit of roll chaining there. That's kind of the main movement mechanic, I guess, is just trying to space out your rolls so that you do one as soon as the previous one finishes, with the exception being in levels or sections of levels where the ground doesn't form up quickly enough, which is pretty common, and in those cases you just have to go as fast as you can without going too fast and falling, because every fall is going to cost you about 2.5 seconds. Alright, finally I get to breathe a little bit, because this level is pretty much just an auto-scroller. It's a bunch of scripted waves of enemy spawns, and there's very little you can do to speed it up, aside from a timed level up strat that I'll be using maybe a third of the way into the level. But really, aside from getting that, I pretty much just have to wait. And I will be trying to get as much experience as possible as well, because that will be beneficial further out later. So there's a timed level up here, and a level up I want to take advantage of. Isn't like strictly 100% necessary, but very convenient to have in Jocelyn Bog. So, oh wow, these guys are taking forever. That one was pretty fast. I'm actually a little surprised that I got that last scumbag. That didn't look like I was going to be close enough.
At this rate, maybe 5 more minutes, maybe 30.
And yeah, at this point, I really can't do anything to speed up the level, other than one small trick to speed up the very end after I've picked up the core. I can do a damage boost to just exit the stage a little faster, but that's really it. Alright.
One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy.
And then one other thing I want to accomplish here, the reason I'm not killing this turret quite yet, is I want to make sure all of my friendly units get killed off before the end. Because they can really get in the way if you have them still alive at the end and make it harder to get that damage boost. So we'll let this squirt go to work on him. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, okay. So it should be a pretty clean setup at this point, hopefully. Just gonna clear out some more enemies, get some more experience. Okay, the scumbag's being a little annoying. This should be fine, though. Yeah. So just get onto that barge a little bit sooner than you otherwise would. And then also in the Bastion, the order and location of the buildings is very intentional at this point. It has been routed to the point where what you build where matters almost every time. So not all the buildings will necessarily be relevant in the run, but there's a mechanic called a text skip in the Bastion where sometimes there will be a narration line when you go to the level select screen that will actually stop you from traveling to the next level until it finishes. And you can skip those lines by making sure that another line is playing when you reach the level select screen through the Skyway. Little Skybridge skip here. Never mind, I missed it. But just trying to take advantage of the fact that the sky bridges don't actually cancel out your speed that you have when you hit them. They just apply kind of a force in a different direction to fling you along. And then here, picking up hand grenades as the secret skill that's going to be favored for most of the run. Not quite all of it. There will be some pike vaulting, some movement-based skips, but for the most part, hand grenades do a ton of damage, and that's really beneficial for all the levels that we have to do where we're fighting stuff.
But that ain't about to stop us.
So the next level is Hanging Gardens. This is one of the harder early levels in terms of navigating the ground, so see if I can get it without falling, but if not, that's totally understandable. It is a pretty technical level in a way that a lot of the early ones really aren't. Alright, got that grenade. But yeah, I mean, other than navigating the ground, there's really nothing extra I'm going to pick up here, so just kind of following not entirely the intended path, but mostly the intended path to the finish. And yeah, now we get Zolf. So, don't really use Zolf for any glitches or anything in some other categories. We will use his positioning very close to the monument to our advantage, but it's just not worth doing here. So instead I'm going to go build the distillery, and this is the one time I'm going to enter the distillery to equip something. And the actual thing I equip is extremely critical to the combat in this run. It's going to be Were Whiskey, which gives me guaranteed critical hits, which normally do double damage. And in this run, they will always do double damage.
Were Whiskey has no scent, but tastes like a
the caveat being that that effect is only active when I'm below about 1/3 health. So what that means, of course, is that I'm going to be spending a decent amount of this run pretty much one hit away from dying. It's not quite going to come into play yet, but it will be relevant in a couple levels from now. So for now, going to Cinderbrick Fort. There's the musket. Say hi to the musket. We're going to be coming back for that, in a sense. Because also in this game, one of the buildings, the Lost and Found, lets you purchase items that you may have missed, like pickups that you missed in previous levels, because you can't actually go back to them. So it's about the same amount of time between picking up the musket in the level versus buying it in the Lost and Found afterwards, but we wanted to use the Lost and Found specifically because using it one time now will make a future purchase faster, because the game won't be trying to teach me how to use the Lost and Found. It will have already done that. So yeah, get the musket, have plenty of money from a lot of those early levels to afford everything that I might need, so that's not at all a concern. Like, I already have, I think, double the amount of money that I need to buy everything that I buy.
Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to death.
Yeah, just on to Pith Orchard. No core here, but there is a fight. And this fight, again, is very scripted. Just gonna throw 2 grenades at Pith as quickly as possible, and then finish him off with a hammer swing and a musket shot. So it is important immediately that we get the musket as soon as possible, and actually do Cinderbrick before Pith Orchard, so that we can get that musket shot and just do some nice damage at the end of that fight.
Though I got some alternatives in mind.
And then the next level coming up is Langston River. This is the second auto-scroller of the run. There are 3 total. The last one being Point Lemaine, which is a little bit after the halfway point of the game. And this one we're just kind of going for a ride on the barge here. Oh, already fell, so that's totally fine though. There are actually a few things in this first part of the auto-scroller that I'm trying to do. One is just kill as many enemies as possible for experience purposes, because that experience is going to become important. Second is I want to drink all my health tonics, because if you are at full health tonic capacity and you pick one up, it automatically heals you. And if you remember the explanation on Were Whiskey, that requires you being at low health, so getting healed is going to take you out of Were Whiskey and mess up whatever combat you want to do in the level. So whenever it's possible or reasonable to do so, I'm going to try to drink a health tonic if I can before getting into Were Whiskey, if there's a risk that I'm going to unintentionally pick up a drop from one enemy or another. And yeah, now gonna go get the core. This is somewhat tricky movement, honestly. It's not, you know, the hardest in the world because the ground's already here all the way, but you do have to move at a fast pace because of that. And you can see the platform is very narrow, so it is somewhat easy to, you know, get stuck or just fall because your angle is a little off. No trouble there though, and I am going to get into Were Whiskey now. So at this point you can see I get the yellow damage numbers, the really satisfying crit sound, and I also am going to die if anything significant happens to hit me. So gotta make sure that doesn't happen. But there are a few things towards the end of this auto-scroller that you need the extra damage to kill efficiently. I should also point out the nice thing about this game is that you get one freebie. You get one death for free. If you happen to die, you can, the first time you die in a level, or really just a map, there are some levels that span multiple maps, and basically per map, if you die, you can get back up right where you died and continue, but if you die a second time, then you have to restart the entire level. Oh, wasn't paying attention there. And, okay, good. So those musket shots are actually very precise, because you need to do 52 or more damage to those birds to kill them. And if you're not like super close to them, you're gonna do like 50 or maybe 48. The musket damage basically scales based on how close you are to the enemy. Now Prosper Bluff is probably the hardest movement level in the run, in terms of just not falling. And also there are some clips that are very tricky, so gonna maybe focus a little bit more here and just try to get through it cleanly. Oh, nice. Okay, so recovered from that sky bridge a little faster. That's good to see. Good clip there. Now I just gotta get this angle right. That's a pretty precise angle, and it's annoying to set up again if you fall. So, very glad I got it quickly. Alright, so we're almost done with the first half, the ore collecting portion of the run. Just one more level to go. Get a little cutscene break after that. Guess I'm in a cutscene break now as well, so shouldn't complain about that. Definitely, I feel like this run has like just enough downtime in it between the load screens and the occasional cutscenes and auto-scrollers. It's not excessive, but it's nice to be able to take a breather every so often. Just collect yourself. So Wild Outskirts is very choreographed in the sense that I want to kill like certain groups of enemies that are going to spawn other groups of enemies. So like I have to do everything in a certain order. For example, killing these top 2 pincushions before I go back for the bottom one. Alright, So got everything to spawn and took it down very cleanly. And that was pretty good too. Good movement towards the end of the level. So yeah, solid level.
Two-legged animals. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no.
And now the run really, I would say, picks up in difficulty from here on. Jocelyn Bog has several difficult tricks in it, which I will do my best to explain. Even this Bastion segment where you have to fall in kind of a precise spot to trigger a glitch is not guaranteed to go well. See how this goes. Got to pick up the Fractured Monument as well, just for a little extra experience. Okay, not sure what happened there. Oh no, that's not good.
The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health.
Decent amount of time lost there from the fall, while the screen was not really visible.
Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop.
But that's okay. So anyway, when I first spawn into kind of the main part of Jocelyn Bog, there are going to be a bunch of stink guys, and basically after I kill the initial two that are already on the screen when you get there, I want to kill the first one that spawns as quickly as possible, like as soon as it is damageable. And if I do that, there is a chance, and it's only a chance because the stink eye spawns in this game do have random components to them. There's a chance that I will immediately be able to finish this area. That probably wasn't it. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure if I just reacted too slowly or if the trick was impossible this time. Either is actually very possible, or both. But yeah, just gotta move on. Gonna be keeping Were Whiskey through the rest of the level pretty much until I take an intentional death in the Soul Regret. Oh, I hope. Okay, I did trigger it. Alright. Basically, want to spawn Rondi as quickly as possible, and then take a death. Alright, that's good. Alright, that's good. So now I can move in this next area, where normally you have to just lie down for a while. And I can actually go complete like this whole area before I would normally get up. Like right there is where you would normally get up. And you can see I'm already done. So good stuff getting through that. It's not going to be an exceptional time because I didn't get the fast strat at the start of the level, but that's okay. Still going to be workable. And there's definitely a lot more time save kind of scattered throughout the later portions of the run, just because they're so much more difficult.
Thought we lost him, but he finally comes to.
So get the shard. Gonna get out of here. I don't know about you, but I've had enough of this level. Get that level up. That's intentional to get our grenades back. And just one more enemy to kill here. And we're out.
Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it.
Okay, so there's not too much to say about the Bastion segment here. Rothus Lagoon is going to feature, once I get into it, several damage boosts. So the main, I guess, mechanic of this level is that the boss, Queen Anne, actually kind of chases you through the whole level, and in the grass patches will attack you. We're actually going to take advantage of that to skip some parts. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Have to do a different route now.
Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard.
I think this will work. No.
Shiny thing. Rushers use their pikes to keep their distance right here. Now the kid can do the same. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap.
Bad clip, but that's okay. Okay, so now we're up to the Queen Anne fight. And this one is, in theory, pretty simple because most of the damage is going to be done by a crit grenade. We'll see how it goes. Alright, that's good. Gonna be time loss, but good fight at least. Basically, you do the crit grenade, then pick up the shard, and then your hit with the pike will trigger the exit to open. Alright, let's try to get this. Gotta focus a bit. Oh, yes. Good. Been working on that. So basically there are 2 more secret skills that I want to pick up, and those are the sneaky decoy, which places kind of a decoy kid down. That's going to be useful in Burstone Quarry only, but it's so useful that I want to get it anyway. And Pike Vault, which is going to be pretty much my secret skill of choice for most of the rest of the run. So just wanted to buy both of those as quickly as possible there, and did a good job of that. And yeah, to explain what Pike Vault does, basically you leap up into the air and come crashing back down on the pike, and it does damage and a little AoE around you. And the damage part of it is actually totally irrelevant to this run. So the reason I'm interested in Pike Vault is that if you're doing a roll when you launch into the Pike Vault, you actually maintain the roll speed during the part of it where you're able to move. And that enables some pretty significant skips, including one at the end of this level. So it's going to be pretty important to the later parts of the run. Alright. That might not be a good angle. Oh no, looks like it's working. Not perfect, but that worked.
Of course, the Grand Rails see much more fighting in bygone times. It was right here that Zolf's forefathers decided to mix it up. Near our 50 years ago, first shots fired.
And yeah, so after this auto-scroller, you will hopefully get to see Pike Vault in action a little bit. And a fun thing you can do in this auto-scroller involves these swamp weeds. Basically, you want to avoid breaking them as much as possible. And if you do that, instead of the narrator saying he'll be picking swamp weed out of his boots for days when you finish the auto-scroller, he'll say something about, should have seen him tiptoe around all those swamp weeds in his way. And of course this does not matter at all, but it's a fun little thing to shoot for since you've got nothing better to do in this particular part of the level. Alright. Let's see if I got it. It's usually not too bad to get, yeah. Generally not a big deal if you're at least making an effort. Right.
This is for you, says the man. Well, what's a kid to do? Then wham.
So pike vault into the arena to keep the ability to roll, do a little bit of magic, I guess, to mess with that ending sequence, and actually pike vault out as well.
It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from
Alright,
over.
so Culford Cauldron is a very difficult level. It has probably the toughest trick in the game execution-wise, which we call CC skip. It doesn't actually skip like that much of the level, but it's an extremely precise pike vault that will save a good chunk of time if I get it, and be very exciting. So let's see how that goes.
We learned an awful lot from Culford Cauldron.
Oh,
Sure, we dusted
really
off
got to
the
get it now, I guess.
but we discovered other things we're better off not.
Ah, that's a bad angle.
After all,
Yeah. Alright, so I gave it one try. That's pretty much what it looks like,
all sorts of
but instead I'm just gonna go around.
look down through all the smoke and flames. We had to have it. As for the kid,
That's interesting that plant's still there.
shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing will
Alright.
every last stink eye.
So now just gotta get out.
Well, there's
Relatively
one stink eye.
straightforward
There's
to do
always
so, I would say.
biggest stink eye he's ever seen.
This section is a little annoying at the very end, but yeah,
Gather up to bid the
just how it
kid
goes.
farewell. With a good spyglass, you can still see the culprit.
And then, yeah, after placing the shard, upgrading another building, next level is going to be Mount Zand.
The shard works like
And this is a level that should be straightforward. It's very short. One of the shortest levels in the game. But the start is difficult because you can't really actually see the ground. I do have some kind of patterns and cues I use to get around that.
call Mount Zand a mountain
And the other complication is just some of the movement
no more mountains.
with like enemies blocking your path later on. Also features a boss fight that is actually
Best thing we can do
intended to be optional.
is put 'em down quick.
I don't do anything special to skip it. There's no trick, no glitch.
But if we
You just literally do not have to fight anything here.
everybody's game,
You can just go out.
not just ours. We just really need their shard.
Alright, so Burstone Quarry, I'm going to upgrade the Forge, just reminding myself of the route a little bit.
Off once the Bastion
Now this is where things, I would say, get really crazy. Burstone Quarry is a very difficult level because of the clips at the end that are time sensitive. If you don't do them quickly enough, you will lose your ability to roll and be stuck doing the end sequence as intended. So yeah, have that to contend with.
Imagine everything you need.
And the movement, kind of the base movement, is not too
Takes hard
easy
work
either,
to plan,
necessarily.
And it also takes Burstone Quarry. The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found out the oldest ones.
Oh god.
Now, why would
So we're actually going to go into this arsenal and equip the decoy. That's going to be needed for the boss fight.
the quarry's bad news? Those rocks, all polished to
Oh, wow.
the largest ones, the newest cores. Remember how I said rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive things stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone.
Okay, that's fine.
Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. The Bastion.
So yeah, get through and keep the ability to roll,
It says,
which is very important, of course, for going fast.
but he ain't about to be
And just kind of break this end sequence a little bit by being able to roll.
I won't stop you because my countrymen will.
Alright. So now, after skipping the Ura invasion here, which just entails dying in the very beginning section in order to get the ability to restart the area, which will save the game and like save that I have a shard, and then quit and reload into the regular Bastion. Oh, come on. So restart area, exit to main menu, and reload. And this allows me to be placed in the Bastion with the shard without having to do the invasion sequence and the associated cutscene.
The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure.
Alright.
We need to finish
So now I'm going to go equip the hand grenades, because these are going to make the next couple levels much less of a pain than they otherwise would be. Particularly this next one. If you don't have hand grenades, it's very annoying. So for the whole level, I'm going to be trying to set up Were Whiskey, get in that low health range as safely as I can, and that is just going to require me to pay very close attention to where I take damage, how much damage I take. So like here I want to get hit by one more Ura and also take a fall. So I'm going to do that coming up. It's actually fine that that one didn't hit me. I'll let this one hit me. Now we're good. So the critical hits actually also apply to these environmental obstacles, which is nice. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to one-shot them with the pike. And then they are going to allow me to also one-shot some Rattletails, which are very annoying enemies at the end of this level.
Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front.
Alright, got him.
For now, Kid had little choice but to pick up where the Calamity left off. First things first, though. There's someone we figure needed rescuing.
Okay. So now we're on to Zoltan's Hollow, and this is kind of a cool level just because of the extent to which you're able to break it. Of course, the main mechanic of the level as intended is that you break these silver pillars, the conductors, to lower the black gates, impeding your progress everywhere. But these gates are actually no obstacle for the kid. He can just slip through very easily. I say as I get stuck on one, but I promise it's not that hard. Oh, come on, that's silly.
By now, every Ura from here to the terminal must know he's in town. The Ura keep hanging on to their barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns.
Alright. So not, like, perfect execution of that level, certainly, but it was alright. And yeah, so now I have to make one last trip to the arsenal. I'm going to be re-equipping Pike Vault, and that will hopefully allow me to save a whole bunch of time in Tassel Terminals. So Tassel Terminals is the final level. It is very long. It is divided into 4 maps. So the first map is pretty straightforward. You just kind of roll to the end. And aside from really right there, there's not too much like tricky ground or anything. You do have to roll there to recover from getting hit by that barge. This fall is intentional. This just prevents a camera lock from impeding your progress. And yeah, already through the first map very quickly. Second map is interesting for a few reasons. I guess the way I'll describe it is this is the map where you get hopscotch. And speedrunners of this game are not generally a big fan of hopscotch. It replaces your roll, so you don't really get to go fast anymore. The timing is a little bit different than the roll timing, so it's kind of awkward. But there is one redeeming factor, and that is that hopscotch plus Pike Vault breaks the game massively. So you'll see that in a moment here. And normally I would kill an enemy here to get into the mini boss arena. Oh god. Okay. I can still make it. Alright. Ah, wow. Very frustrating trick here, but you can get out of this arena. Oh my god. Come on. Oh no. Please just press the button on time. Wow. Of course I miss it. Oh wow. This is crazy. No! Alright, I have one more chance. Wow, Oh, thank God. Okay. I was gonna be in big trouble if I didn't get that.
How come I know so much about
Would have had to just take a death.
Well,
Don't actually have a heal, which is unfortunate. What can you do? Alright, so after much difficulty and struggle, I was able to show that you are in fact able to escape that arena, both get in without triggering the fight and get out, which is important because without doing the fight there's no real way to get out other than that precise pike vault. Alright. So now this is map number 3, and this one is where you get the battering ram. And battering ram is another thing that speedrunners aren't really a big fan of. You'll see why in a moment. Yeah, look at that. Slow walk. Secret skill that time doesn't freeze you in place, but usually just freezes you in place while it does its thing. And the secret skill is also pretty unreliable in terms of like what AoE it will actually damage, so yeah, we're just stuck with this thing for a few more minutes.
But then again, next, we detonate the cores, and we take off away from here. That way, all of...
Alright, so final map, we fight a bunch of the Ura here, and basically the only reason you're able to survive is that the battering ram also greatly reduces the amount of damage you take. So in a run with menu storage, you would be able to basically negate that effect, but also negate the slow walk and save a bunch of time from walking at regular speed, but that's not an option here, so just gotta deal with it as it is, kind of. How did I not get him? What? Alright, that's fine. I think I usually have an extra heal there anyway, so I'm a little concerned, but I'm not super concerned. Shouldn't be too much more than an annoyance. I say as I press heal instead of secret skill. I think this is still fine though. The tricky part is right here where I want to save my last secret skill so I'm not actually defeating these pith enemies. Okay, yeah, no, this is fine. Still have a heal in case something chases after me, but looks like that won't be a problem. And it's faster to leave Zulf, so that is what I'm going to do.
Kid saves Zulf once, but I don't think
yeah, just gotta get out.
I wouldn't. Don't you worry though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all.
And of course, this is the final level, so
still thinking about that old.
well, first I'll say the way this part works is you don't actually take damage, but the melee attacking enemies will knock you back if they hit you. So basically, you want to kill the melee enemies as soon as possible to avoid getting knocked back a bunch, and otherwise not do too many attacks because attacking is slow. Oh my god. Alright, so yeah. One cool thing also about this run compared to really every other, at least main leaderboard category in the game, is that you actually get to choose which ending you see. That's not a common feature, I'll say, because getting the evacuation ending is actually directly tied to picking up the journal in Prosper Bluff. And most runs of this game do not go to Prosper Bluff, and often the ones that do will pike vault in a way that avoids picking up the journal. So you're kind of locked into restoration. So gonna take the evacuation ending just because it's a little strange by Bastion speedrunning standards to even be able to do it. But yeah, no, just to kind of close out with some of my last thoughts, I think this is like one of the best ways to speedrun this game, if not the best. I would say it's the best. I don't know that everyone would, but I love it. You know, it's pretty solid pacing, like I explained earlier. You get a lot of tricks. Like, it's actually loaded with all kinds of both one-off tricks and just general movement tech. It's very complex at the highest level, and I think this run just shows off so much of what Bastion has to offer as a speed game. And you know, yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? You know, gonna be getting the ending here, and that's it. Whew. So yeah, finish the run. Really, aside from the pike vault mishap in Tassel terminals, this was a solid run all around. Definitely satisfied with how it went, and yeah, you know, once you get a lot of these tricks down, it can be a very consistent run. And it's just a matter of, in terms of PB attempts, like, can you just hit everything? Can you get, like, close enough to perfection to just, like, take your run to the next level? And it's very difficult, as I showed in some places here, but it's very fun as well. Hope you enjoyed it.
Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate.